since we got JJ in here, first time, he's a UFC guy. He's into the MMA, as am I, as are a lot of people. And we're definitely going to be doing a lot of MMA talk, especially closer to the fight week. So, but just now, we just want to get an early segment in here. We have the Colby Covington, Kamaru Usman rematch coming up. Obviously, we know that Kamaru Usman stopped him. I never heard that fight be made official yet. Jon Jones just got out of jail. But Kamaru Usman and Colby Covington are going to be fighting for their rematch. And we all know that Kamaru Usman stopped him in dramatic fashion in the first fight. And, I mean, he's already ran through the entire welterweight division where he's doing laps now. I don't even think Colby Covington in his mouth even deserves another shot at the title. I guess, what else are you going to do? This guy.
So,
all right, go ahead.
I can't say that Usman, just straight smashed the guy. Because if you watch the fight, Usman got rocked a few times in the take. Now, I'm not saying, Colby has the best name for himself because the way he's been acting and things like that is definitely not appreciative. But fight-wise, against Usman, he is a challenge to Usman because, the biggest thing that Usman should be afraid of is wrestling. And one thing I didn't like about any of the fights is that Covington didn't use his wrestling like he normally should. It's the same predicament like with Ronda Rousey when her coach was telling her to start playing out of her position, which was out of the ground game, and then she got knocked out or beat up, TKO, and eventually just started going downhill from there. Whereas I think if Covington, he gave Usman a run for his money with stand-up, but if you actually look at who Covington is, he's a wrestler. Now, 90% of fights, if wrestling's involved, usually the better wrestler controls the fight. Which is why I say if Covington played how he can actually take that fight and beat Usman. Yes, Usman broke his jaw and rocked him, but you got to look at when that happened. That didn't happen first round like Jose Aldo versus Conor McGregor. It's not one of those fights. It was a fight that they actually threw a lot of bombs back and forth. It wasn't something that Usman was able to sleep him right away and prove that he's the better man. It was actually a challenge. So I think a lot of people don't give Colby Covington the respect that he actually deserves because fighting-wise, for his fighting talent, because he really did give Usman a run for his money.
Yeah, it was a good fight until he got him out of there. But I will say that Usman is a wrestler too. Usman's a wrestler first, and Covington is not going to out-wrestle Usman. That's why he had to stand up with him. If he tries it again, he's going to get knocked out. I don't think that there's anybody in the welterweight division that's ready to take what Usman is to offer. And if Colby Covington can beat him the second time around, I call him a damn good man. I tell you that. That's all I got to say on that one. Then he got his jaw broken, and now they're fighting again. This is why I say I don't even know why they're fighting again. He talked all that shit the first fight. He got his jaw broken.
A lot of us know that Jon Jones, if you look at him, he's someone who you can see when he gets in the cage that he has a killer mentality. He's a real shark when he gets in that cage. And I feel like, now that they're gonna, it's undecided who he's gonna fight now because that put a hold on things and allowed other people to move up because it kind of was like, okay, Jon Jones got in trouble, we got to make the next move. So it looks like this next fight with Miocic, if he wins, he's going to be the one to fight Jon Jones, and then it would be versus Francis Ngannou, or if
Miocic is going to fight who?
Jon Jones.
When?
After his next fight that he has coming up, I forget who it's with right now. I didn't catch the card for that for him, but the next one.
Jon Jones is only, from what I'm told, Jon Jones is only interested in
Francis.
In a title fight.
Yeah, with Francis. But if a lot of people are saying that it wouldn't be fair to the next person who has already worked up in their fights in heavyweight to contend for that belt. So after Miocic or whoever fights, they're fighting Jon Jones, and then that person's going to fight for the belt. So the reason why they're doing that, and Jon Jones actually kind of agreed to it, is because he wants to show them that he's there to take over heavyweight and that he wants the belt. And he said he doesn't care if he gets it in the first fight or that fight because he's willing to fight both of those guys because they're big names. Not that Francis...
I think it's for 2 years since we've seen Jon Jones in the ring. I think he needs to get the act. He needs to get going. I think
he's been training. He's already ready for heavyweight.
When I seen him that day, I seen him do the interview that day. That's why it beat me up so bad. I watched him. He looked so positive. He looked good too.
But he weighs 255 as of right now.
2 years over the ring is a lot. And like, you got to make moves now. Jon Jones is not no spring chicken anymore. And the last time we saw him fight, not to say he didn't do good, but he didn't look like Jon Jones of old.
No, but he'll even admit to you, he never trained.
We watched him fight Reyes. Okay, yeah. Reyes is all that he can handle. You see what has happened to Reyes since then? So obviously Reyes wasn't that good of a fighter. And I tell you right now, when he fought the other guy, Thiago, if Thiago wouldn't have hurt himself in the second round, Thiago would have beat Jon Jones, and I'm thoroughly convinced of that. Right. So Jon Jones, he's getting up there, and it's going to take a lot. And you got to, if you're focused on partying, you're still getting messed up at this age to the point where this kind of shit is happening. I don't know if he's really mentally ready to do it. Honestly, I think that his power and his overall skills and his size and just his overall ability while he was young carried him through a lot of shit, or through a lot of things while he was doing all this crazy madness. But I think now, at the age that he is now, stepping into the weight division that he's stepping into, it's a totally different ball game. And if he's not prepared, he could get himself seriously hurt. Because these guys ain't like the guys at light heavyweight. We're talking Francis Ngannou. We're talking Derek Lewis.
Kind of rebuttal that. How I feel about that against Francis is, I don't know if you know this, but Jon Jones is naturally a 230-pound man. He actually has to cut to fight at light heavyweight. So that's why he always had a crazy size advantage. Even like for size not reach, but for his actual size because of his natural weight. So whenever he went into light heavy, he always had not only just length but strength, and then he had his sharpness inside there on how he's going to beat each player. He'll tell you he watches what makes them back up and act a certain way when they're hurt versus when they're ready versus when they're tired and everything else. So you got to remember, Francis is knockout power. Knockout power can only get you so far. And Daniel Cormier is someone who's one of the best defense takedown people ever. And for Jon Jones just to be able to sweep him down like it's nothing and broke Daniel Cormier's thing that he felt for to never be able to take him down. And that every time he spars, he normally spars with a heavyweight because light heavyweight is just not something that he's normally sparred with because it makes him have to train harder and fight harder. That's why he's always dominated light heavy. Now, do I think Francis Ngannou could destroy him with a good hit? Yeah, because Francis actually has that knockout power. Miocic is a well-rounded wrestler and could give Jon Jones a little more of a run for his money, but then it's just going to come down to who has the better skill. As for age and athleticism, I would say Jon Jones is still more well-rounded than Francis because of, he's able to come up to his weight. And
I don't think that's so cut and dry because we never seen him fight at heavyweight before. So I mean, we could say, but he could be a totally different. He could be a totally different person at that weight. Like he's going. You're going from 200 pounds to now you're up in like 250. I'm sure he could definitely be devastating, but you're going to be dealing with men that carry this weight well. Francis Ngannou. If Jon Jones walks around at a 230, Francis must be walking around at close to 300 pounds. Or Francis is fighting more at his natural weight. Right. And honestly, personally, I think Jon Jones is a little bit too over the hill to compete. I don't think he has the youth to keep up. Because I feel like if he would have stepped up to heavyweight when he was younger, he would have relied on certain things like his speed, his elusiveness, his quickness, and his overall skill. But at his age, I don't really think that speed and shit is translating up to the heavyweight. I think he's going to have to rely more on power, and that's the thing. He can walk around at 130, but a lot of fighters that fight walk around from Boston MMA. They walk around at a lot more heavier weights, but they fight down to their power. They want to get the knockouts. They want to fight guys they can put to sleep. That's why people go through crazy weight cuts to go fight. Because I could walk around at 250, but I ain't getting in the ring and knock. I could walk around at 170, but I'm not getting in the ring on fight day and knocking out nobody who fights at 170. These boys are too big. So Jon Jones, I don't think he has the sort of power to knock him. Francis Ngannou. Maybe Stipe can be a little bit chinny, but honestly, I said this from way back that I honestly, and I wish I would have got to see it. I honestly did not think Jon Jones would have been able to beat Daniel Cormier at heavyweight. I think he had his number at light heavyweight, but I think at heavyweight, I think Daniel Cormier would have waxed him. Personally,
I can't say that because anytime you look at Jon Jones, he has knockout power, and it kind of is even more enforced with the more weight that he has, right? So if he's already able to clean, cold, knockout guys at 205, you know what I mean? Beat Daniel Cormier so bad that he cried. Man cried, right? Like, this is someone who's supposed to be big time and whatever, and then ran off crying on Cain Velasquez's shoulder. You know what I mean? Like, that's just the way I see it. I see his he breaks down. He went to Rampage Jackson, Shogun Rua, Lyoto Machida. These are all the greats. You know what I mean? And went through, like, really made Lyoto Machida have, like, a seizure in his face and choked him out so hard because the ref didn't know from where he was holding him. Like, this is a guy of immense power who is naturally at heavyweight. And like you said, these guys are going to fight at naturally heavyweight. But now you got natural guy who knocks people at a 205 who's naturally heavyweight, who now gets to have all of his weight normal and his power like boosted because of the weight. Right? So, and then you got to remember his versatile. He's able to go on the ground. He literally beat the best of the best in light heavy at anything that they were known to be great at. He took Rampage Jackson down to beat on him, even though Rampage was always known for stopping him. He took Rashard Evans and showed him, like, I can play you at your own game and beat you. Literally mimicked him. So to say, you know what I mean, that Francis,
you're going back 10 years. 10 years. I'm going back a long time. You can't expect that same Jon Jones to show up in heavyweight. You can't expect that. He's going to be wrestling around with no Francis Ngannou. That's for sure.
I feel like a lot of people underestimate that. I think Jon Jones is literally going to run Francis's rounds, get him tired, and then demolish him. That's how I feel Jon Jones.
I think that Jon Jones could do good at heavyweight if he would have been fighting these last 2 years, and like he would have been.
Well, Francis is 35 years old or more now, right? So I mean,
Francis is a different kind of beast. I just feel like if Jon Jones made that transition after the Reyes fight, and he said he's going to go heavyweight, he would have fought some tune-up fights. Got used to fighting heavyweight. Sure, I don't think he's going to get in heavyweight and fight his first fight against one of the top guys. I just don't think that he can do it for a couple of different reasons. For the fact that it's his first time ever fighting at that size, and for the fact that he's been out of the ring for 2 damn years. And the last couple times we've even seen him fight at light heavyweight, he didn't even look that good then. So
yeah. So when he fought Alexander, he didn't train.
He literally gave up his belt. He literally gave up his championship to go up to heavyweight and hasn't fought in 2 years. Like, he could
but
still
I would say
it's something a little fishy, and for the fact that Israel Adesanya was calling him out pretty hard too.
Yeah,
at the same time.
Yeah, but style
Jon Jones. I'm not gonna lie. And personally, I like Jon Jones. I'm a fan, but I honestly do not think he's gonna make much noise at heavyweight. It's mainly for the fact that he's been supposed to be moved up for 2 years now, and he hasn't even fought yet. This is my problem with him. Honestly, and I mean, maybe I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong, but especially with the mental health stuff on top of that,
yeah,
I just don't think he's fit to do it. Like, how can you be doing all of this stuff and still think you're gonna go up there and beat the best? The heavyweight champion is not nobody to be messed with.
I look at Jon Jones right now mentally. I still feel like that if Jon Jones came, when he fought Alexander Gustafsson, he didn't even train, right? His first time round. Second time when he actually prepared for him, he ran through him. You know what I mean? Like, it was no problem. And I think what makes a great fighter is it's not about, if it's gonna go to decision, it's about knowing that if you're gonna beat the champ, you really gotta beat him. So I think for people to judge on that fight, you gotta understand, like, at the end, Jon Jones, if this were a fight nobody were around, Jon Jones was gonna kill that man because he started winning in the late game. You know what I mean? If you're gonna beat the champion, you gotta actually beat him. As for Jon Jones being messed up mentally and stuff like that, I mean, even for a bit, Mike Tyson, when he came out mad out of jail and he lost Customato and going crazy, he was still knocking a few minutes before it actually got to the point where he just lost touch of everything. You know what I mean? So I feel like with Jon Jones, it's that same thing. He got that killer look in his eyes when he comes in the ring, like he's really ready to put it to the person that's in front of him. And I think that, you know, you underestimate that, and I know you think that he's washed up, but I really feel like you're going to have a big shock when he comes in there and he makes Usman look, when he makes Ngannou look a lot smaller and takes him to the rounds and then just beats him up on the ground, because I know that's exactly what he's going to do, because that's something that anybody would do. You don't want to stand toe-to-toe with somebody who can literally, it doesn't even look like they really hit you and you're going to sleep. You know what I mean? Like, that's almost a given. And that's his only skill, is knockout power. You know what I mean? The guy is getting slowly better as he goes on, but the main thing that Francis is always known for is the 1 or 2 round knockout power, which is, you know, the same thing you can say about Conor McGregor and Khabib. You know, Khabib got a hold of him, slammed him around, put him to sleep, made him know. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, yeah, you can throw hands all you want, but on the ground, what can you do if you can't do anything? Because this is UFC.
There's no way in hell that Jon Jones would ever manage Ngannou like that.
I don't think right away, but I think he'll tire him up.
I don't think what you're saying is very realistic at all. I do not think Jon Jones has the power to knock out Francis Ngannou. I do not see that happening at all. If he tries to throw them blows with Francis Ngannou, he will go to bed instantly. One exchange and he's getting knocked out.
I don't think so. Absolutely not. Because Jon Jones has always had...
He's going to sleep.
No.
One exchange with Ngannou, he's going to sleep.
I think if he gets caught, yes. If he gets caught with it, yes, he can go to sleep.
He could hit Ngannou he could hit Ngannou 4 times, and Ngannou would hit him once. Did you see the fight with Rosenblatt and Ngannou? That's what would happen to Jon Jones if he tried to throw the man.
But Rosen doesn't have knockout power. Rosen is already washed up. You know what I mean? Anybody who really was a contester pretty much washed him around the ring. So he was just something to help build Francis' name.
Jon Jones, I got to see it before I believe it. I think Jon Jones, and first and foremost, Ngannou is going to be the first in line to Francis Ngannou. And let me tell you something. If Ngannou, I still don't even know, as good of a fighter as Ngannou is, I don't know if he can beat Ngannou. But I might as well tell you, what if Jon Jones has to fight Ngannou? You think he can beat him?
I think he'll destroy him.
I don't know. I think you just sound a little too sure about that stuff for a man that we ain't even seen fight in 2 years. We ain't never seen fight at heavyweight. The last 2 times we seen him fight at light heavyweight, he friggin' barely won either of them fights. So I don't know. I don't know, bro. What you call it? When he fought Thiago, if you watch the fight when he fought Thiago was ready to punch his head off. If Thiago wouldn't have hurt his leg in the second round, you mean to tell me you don't think Thiago had a chance to knock Jon Jones out that fight?
That proves my point, though, because Jon Jones came back after a year and a half from that fight alone.
Okay.
So you have a guy who can throw bombs, who's known to knock people out, and Thiago is a really good fighter and couldn't do the job. Something happened.
You got hurt. Listen, know what I'm saying? If he would leg in the second round, I think.
That's what happens. He hits something that's perfect.
Okay, but Francis ain't soft like that. And if he was, and if Thiago was rocking Jon Jones like that, I'm gonna do to him. Nah, I won't like. I would like to see him. And I mean, maybe you could be right, but I feel like the way you're talking is like, oh, this is a foregone conclusion. Like Jon Jones ain't even really been knocking people out at light heavyweight. I've seen him choke people out. I've seen him choke people out. I've seen him get a head kick and get like a referee stoppage from strikes. I've never seen him put nobody to sleep. No, I honestly. Wait, if I seen him, TKOs. When did you ever see him put someone to sleep? Knock him. KO. Did he knock somebody out?
No, he knocked Shogun out like clean. And then
I've never seen Jon Jones one shot knock somebody. I've never seen it. He's fought light heavyweight his whole life. I've never seen him one shot. I've seen him beat a lot of people down and have the referee have to stop the fight. I've seen him choke some people. I never seen a one shot Jon Jones. I remember him beating Richard down. I don't remember him knocking out. Like I said, I never seen him one shot knock somebody. He didn't have one shot knock over Richard Evans. He never ever one shot knocked out anybody. I've never ever seen him do that. So this power that you're talking about, it's not real. And he's not going to be able to manhandle and beat down Francis Ngannou like that. Maybe when he was younger, maybe when he was smaller and more agile, but we never seen him fighting that, weighing 235 and shit. Not to say that he can't, but I want to see it. I don't think it's a foregone conclusion. I'm not just giving him the credit when he steps to heavyweight, like, oh, he's automatically the best heavyweight in the world. Because if he was, honestly, if he wasn't even a little bit nervous at these heavyweights, he would have fought one or two of them by now, just to show you. This man needs to make money. He hasn't been active, but he could have fought a couple people. He could have fought one or two people. Come on, and you know that. Why? He wants to payday. He wants to payday. And if he's going to lose, just like
you
he
want
said,
payday.
I
know that.
That Francis Ngannou is scary as hell. And if I'm going to fight that guy, you're going to have to pay me. He could kill me. Literally. And this is what he... and he probably feels like that's fighting any heavyweight. So he's like, if I'm going to fight anybody, I'm going for the payday. And I want to get my money.
Right. But as someone who's literally called the GOAT of the UFC, you know what I mean? It's the same thing like royalties for Michael Jordan. He's known as the greatest player of all time.
Well, so Jon Jones is not the Michael Jordan MMA. Jon Jones is Michael Jordan.
See, now you got me in the conversation because I can honestly tell you, I'm not going to sit here and let you disrespect Michael Jordan like that. The way Ace is up here saying that this guy can...
Disrespect for Michael Jordan. What I'm saying is that literally, if you're going to say someone's the greatest player of all time or the greatest fighter of all time, that person should be paid. Look at LeBron James, right? He's known as one of the greatest, and look at his pay volume because of it. And we all know that UFC fighters aren't paid definitely what they're worth. We all know that for sure. So what I'm saying is if you literally, even Dana White himself, the president of UFC, says Jon Jones is the best fighter, pound for pound fighter in the UFC ever to exist as of right now.
I don't agree with it. I think he could have been. I mean, I don't think he's like no Jordan. I don't think he's greater fighter than Anderson Silva. I don't really think he can put him above Khabib. I don't really think he can put him above George St. Pierre. After that, now Jon Jones starts getting in my conversation. I can't front. But to John language, and we're not going to sit up here and act like Jon Jones never got caught using drugs either, performing enhancing drugs.
Well,
so let's not act. That's what
he didn't take steroids.
All you know is what he says. You don't know what he says.
PEDs, bro.
He's dirty multiple times. He was suspended for a year and a half for taking PEDs, bro. And he still has PEDs in his system now. Do you know every time he pisses hot, and he's allowed because they say it's only picograms that it will never go away. So he done did so many PEDs that PEDs are in his system for life. It ain't nobody else got no picograms. This man's allowed to fight with picograms in his system. Ain't nobody else got no picograms.
Listen, I'm not saying there's not a lot.
This is one thing Jonathan Sullivan never brought up about Jon Jones. Now we're going to speak it. We're going to speak the truth. Let's speak the reals now. You know what I mean? Let's speak the real.
So, all right, if we're going to talk about his drug problems and everything else, like you said, that's hearsay, though, because it is a known fact that if you take certain supplements, it can corrupt your body.
How the hell is it hearsay when the man did a year and a half suspension? The man had to give up his title and everything. He had to vacate his win and everything, bro. That ain't no hearsay. That's straight. So,
what happened was he took a supplement that he claims he was unaware of. And then what happened was
he bought some gas station Viagra.
I definitely agree that it wasn't the greatest excuse because we all know that what he was doing wasn't right at that time. However, when went and he did the piss test. The reason why it's permanently like that is because there are things you can go to GMC, Popeyes, any place like that right now, and you can buy certain pre-workouts and stuff like that that will tell you it can permanently affect your body and your DNA and everything else and cause certain things.
So then you would put it on the shelf and not
piss
take
tests.
it, not to actually say, well, even though it's going to corrupt my body, I'm a professional fighter, it cost me millions of dollars on my title, I'll take it anyways. I'll take the risk. The fact that he did that, he deserved to be stripped, and he doesn't deserve to be talked as someone who cares about his career. That's the problem with people who pop dirty and don't have a legitimate excuse. And the reason why you can't say there's a legitimate excuse is because you shouldn't have it in your system. So a point of the rule is you're not to have drugs in your system, things that help you enhance your performance. That's the whole point of
Right.
it. But what I'm hearing out of you is pretty much that it's okay for him to have it because he had some crazy excuses. Even you're admitting, it wasn't a very good excuse. Along the lines of it not
what
being
I'm saying.
No, you said that. You said along the lines of it not being a good excuse is he bought something. It doesn't matter. Once he's caught with that and he's been suspended, there's no allegedly about it. I can speak about it freely on the platform, whatever. He's a drug user. He cheated. He got suspended for a year for cheating.
So I definitely.
And you
think
call
that
him the
Jon
GOAT. And you
Jones
said they said he's the GOAT. He's the best of the best, and they didn't even try to cover that up. They didn't try to protect their GOAT. Their GOAT has an asterisk and pop dirty. So I think that's a bad argument, though. I'm not trying to go against the grain here. I'm just refereeing or listening to the side. But if I hear somebody pop dirty and he's the GOAT, I mean, I don't know. Like maybe Jordan did, maybe Gretzky did. Who knows? But the one thing is we don't. And to know that
What I'm saying about with Jordan, I'm not saying Jordan never did anything illegal.
It's not about Jordan.
I'm saying
your man pop dirty.
Yeah, he popped dirty. So that's just what happened. But at the end of the day, it still pops up.
But you're glossing over this. You're glossing over a man popping dirty in it. But hold on. You're a big fan of the sport, right? Hold on. You're a big fan of the sport, right? You stand by the sport, right? And are you telling me there is room for non-clean fighters in this sport? It's a yes or no question. Any elaboration is justification. It's a yes or no, but it's a yes. No, hold on, no. But I'm just saying because what I'm hearing right now, and if we play it back, you're gonna hear this. You're saying what I'm hearing is that he popped dirty, but that's beside the point. No, that is the point. That's the only point. You don't go nowhere. Once you hear he took PEDs in a combat sport, you're likely to kill someone. And you're taking PEDs and you got suspended for a year and he shouldn't even be fighting. He popped dirty. That's wow.
What I'm saying is I'm talking about how it shows up in the system. I think that if they can control on the stats and see that he's not taking any more PEDs, but they can see that it's always in the system. That's what I'm saying to look over on. I'm not ever excusing anytime someone does drugs or does anything.
That's what they say. But the commission is dirty too. But you should see them they're letting boxers fight on commuter raw.
But amphetamine. I mean, they said the same thing about Canelo. They've raised the level so that it doesn't show up. But I'm not even going there right now. I'm really looking at the fact of you don't find that even a little bit suspicious that he has lasting effects or things that are going to make PEDs show up in his system, even if it ain't in his system.
He taking a lot, and let's not forget he got two brothers that both play in the NHL and the NFL. Where guys using performances, these things are used heavily. You know what I'm saying?
I'm honestly, and I'm not trying to pick at nobody. I listened to all this, and I heard he was compared to Jordan in his own sport as the GOAT. You call him a guy a GOAT in his sport, but really he's a cheater.
I'm talking about the payday.
Just payday. You want payday?
Yeah, but it doesn't matter though. You're talking to me about a guy who took PEDs, and he's considered a GOAT. But payday or no payday, he's not worth nothing because he cheated. If I literally took all the PEDs I could take, go into MMA, start whooping butt, and come out of MMA, and then I tell you, I did all that, but I probably couldn't beat none of them. I cheated. Would you give me the credit of the GOAT?
What I would say is,
I don't care how many, what the percentage of people that took it. I'm saying no one wants to give me credit if they found out that everybody I fought, I had loaded gloves and I took PEDs. They would take every credit a bit away from me.
Right.
I'm sorry. So why would I? So what you're telling me is the face of this fight, the face of this fight, the face of this sport is a drug user. The guy that you would call the GOAT is a drug user, and you're not gonna think about what fights was he in that he used them, because we only know the ones that he got caught. We're not even like no one is even brought up as the ones that he didn't, that we don't know he was using them on. So at the end of the day, it's like that GOAT thing. You got to be stripped of the GOAT title. You got to be stripped of the GOAT title.
Okay, but PED only covers your strength and ability. It doesn't cover your ability as your skill. You gotta
but the point of
steroids.
the point of it is it gives you an enhancement. It gives you an edge on your competition. It doesn't matter in what category. Any category can be neutralizing. Any category could be that one little edge that you need over it. So it doesn't really matter what it gave you the edge on. At the end of the day, you shouldn't have took it. But your performance is based on your natural ability. That's what sports is about. Two men combating, or two women combating, or two humans combating with their natural ability.
No, I would disagree.
What?
When you
put something in your body to enhance the... No, but you can't. Okay, listen, one thing we don't do...
Everybody hold on. Everybody hold on.
Hey, you're gonna rap.
Yo, can I talk? Can I talk?
Let me talk.
Let me talk.
You can't just talk over me because you don't like what I'm saying, bro. I'm saying to you, you're saying that two people fighting naturally is not what it's about. It should be okay. Like what I'm saying is they're supposed to be fighting naturally, no extra enhancements. But you're saying it only does this. It sounds really bad that you're making it seem as if it's okay to use drugs in some sort of way. And I'm telling you, if you listen back, you're gonna say like, okay, I never once actually made it seem like you shouldn't use drugs at all. I'm saying like, well, in certain places, and that's the point that I don't get. If you in UFC is a combat sport, I don't care how hard I can hit and how hard he can hit. I shouldn't be able to use an advantage to even out the field. Like that's what separates me from him. Go ahead, Mike.
I agree that if you could have a fully clean industry, that is how it should be. However, everybody in that industry is trying to find any edge or put them above, even if it's by one little bit that they can, from testosterone producers to estrogen blockers to PEDs to anything that allows their performance to be increased. But like I said about the estrogen blockers and stuff, a lot of them will do it because they want the higher testosterone, because it is going to help with their strength, and it is going to help with them being a little more aggressive and a little more an edge for that fight. It doesn't always take PEDs to do that. Now, am I excusing what he did? No, but I'm just saying that you can expect that in that industry regardless. However, you're right. He could have more strength over the person that he was fighting, considering that he comes down from heavyweight and was on PEDs and everything else. Yeah, you could say that maybe he...